draft yet, but we're in executive session, so it's just
Right.
a draft. And it's, I just saw it on the table, but I'll fix that.
Yeah. Right, okay. Again, good morning. I'm Jeff Stone, Chair of the Board, and let's start with our usual introductions, please. Arda?
Good morning, Arda Plano, the Comptroller.
Pauline, you, Business Manager.
Caitlin Rand, AVP of Academics. Joe Strano, Police Kid.
Kathy Plasso, SVP of Operations.
Eric Nealon's the Vice President of Enrollment Management.
James Blackwell, VP of Administration.
John Reinholz, Consultant to Campus Safety.
Angelica Morrison, VP of Marketing Communications.
Jeff Stone, Board Chair.
Adam Zakai, President.
Candace Morrison, Trustee.
Ken Curley, Trustee.
Gail.
And Gail.
Gail Frazier, Assistant to Dr. Sagai.
Bob Germoni, Assistant to the President for Special Projects.
And I'm Alexander, Technology Support Specialist.
Good morning. I know we always do our introductions, and many of us are quite familiar with everyone else in the room. However, we always have a couple of new people every time, so I think it's nice for people to know exactly who's in the room. We do not have a quorum as yet, but I do expect one fairly soon. My general sense of this meeting is that it's a busy time of year, and I think we will be on the relatively brief side this morning. There will be an executive session as soon as we obtain a quorum. It will not be all that lengthy. We plan on, as I'll announce when we call the motion, we plan on talking about collective bargaining and also the lease negotiations for our South Campus new site. And both of those are subjects for executive session. While we wait for the quorum, we'll have reports and presentations. Adia?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jeff. So for this morning, as we always do, we talk about our students and some of the success. So today we have Joe Strano. We had our graduation of the Police Academy last week. So Joe, if I may invite you and talk about the program.
All right.
You
This
come
past
over here if
Friday
you
we
like, Joe.
graduated-
You can come over here.
Easier to hear online.
Usually that seat right there, Joe.
Down here.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, this past Friday, we graduated our 145th basic class for police. We started with 64 recruits from 21 different agencies. We graduated 58 of those. This past June, we graduated 78 recruits from over 20 police different agencies. We presently serve 40 different agencies in Erie County and the surrounding counties. We have many officers that come in from Genesee County, Chautauqua County, Cattaraugus County, Wyoming County. They're police agencies. They come to us. On top of the basic class, we do 30 to 50 in-service trainings each and every year, from which are involved with existing police officers from the corresponding agencies that come here. The biggest thing that's happening in the academy right now is on staff for the last 3.5 years, we had an individual named Brian Ross. Brian Ross worked for me. He was one of our instructors. We had many conversations regarding moving forward, basically not reinventing the wheel, but just copying it from what Monroe County does. In my former career, I was a retired inspector with the Buffalo Police Department for 36 years. I had many dealings with Monroe County Police Academy. I think that it's the state-of-the-art model that they do. It isn't just, they just don't teach police. It's probation, it's parole, it's EMS, and it's their fire service, okay? So what we're losing here at ECC as far as FTEs, and talk about low-hanging fruit here. In my conversations with Brian, who is now the Commissioner of Central Police Services under County Executive Polenkars, we said, wait a minute, why don't we expand this here? Let's try to model ourselves after Monroe County here. So he had conversations with Ben Swanekamp from the Polenkars' office, and we started rolling with it. We did a couple of on-site visits to Monroe County on how they do their service, along with Danny Neverth, who came from the county side on emergency services. What's left on the table that we do not presently do here is this. all the volunteer fire services. Buffalo Fire teaches at our facility behind Cheektowaga Police Headquarters. That's the Emergency Services Department right there. They have to have continuing ed each and every year, all the volunteers, to keep their accreditation, okay? Same thing with Buffalo Fire. Those are all credit-bearing classes that we are not presently doing right now, okay? It's not affiliated with a college. So what happens is in Monroe, everything is through MCC, their community college there. They go through SUNY, they get the credit-bearing credits that are allotted to those services right there. And in turn, the Monroe gets the FTEs that are affiliated with all those courses. So when you talk about the police side is small comparative to the amount of volunteer firefighters are out there, Buffalo firefighters are out there, Danny Neverett's emergency services people are out there. Those are all credit-bearing classes that we are not presently getting. So moving forward, I think President Sagai is on board with us here. She came to a couple of meetings with us as well in moving forward to basically replicate what Monroe is doing here at ECC. So I think it's a good foundation. Like I say, it's not reinventing the wheel and it's just copying it. Monroe, at the end of the day, does not take any county money. When County Executive Polenkars did a site visit about 3 weeks ago, and the Monroe County's executive was there as well. And when he told our county executive the best thing that ever happens is they never ask us for any money. They basically make $1 million a year. After all is said and done, standalone facility, their facility makes $1 million a year. They take no county money whatsoever to run their entire academy. So I think it's a win-win for us. You know, we're obviously in the very, very early stages of this here. It's going to take a lot of legwork here on the college's side as far as, getting things through SUNY, the curriculum committees and stuff like that. Not on the police side, but on the emergency services side. Danny Neverett is moving forward. The good thing about fire, between fire and EMS on the county side is those curriculums are already in place with the state. They just have to, on the state fire side and then on the EMS side, they just have to get transferred over into the SUNY side. So I think I think it's happening. I think it's a good foundation. So I think we're moving forward on it. So it's all good things here for the college, and I think hopefully we'll get a standalone facility. I know there's a lot of legwork happening right now on the county side as far as land and things like that. I know they're looking at a couple of places right now. Some of them need to be where county land exists next to private land, and then there's existing county land where no purchase has to be making, but I think it's a matter of where they want to put a facility, so all good things. So.
It's very exciting. You mentioned MCC, and I've read of their program as well. Could you compare and contrast what you have in mind here to what's going on at Niagara County Community College? Because they've also made a splash locally with investing in their infrastructure for Law Enforcement Academy. Numbers are pretty high. How do you see what we would be doing would be the same as that in MCC, or are there differences among those three programs?
There really isn't any difference. It's just size. Across the board, a perfect example is, we have 2 academies a year. Like I said, we graduated 58. Last class we did 78. Their average size is like 15 to 20, only because of the size of the police departments that are in Niagara County.
Oh, so they're smaller.
They're
okay.
very, very
Okay.
small.
All right.
So their FTEs are smaller there. They do the same training we do, but they're just grabbing a smaller population base there. I think we would service a bigger community here, obviously, because on the northern side, their police departments are very, very small in the northern suburbs of Niagara County compared to ours. Okay, so.
All right. Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay.
Any comment on it?
No, I think one of the things I think a lot of it, Joe, you talked to, but I want to really thank you for your leadership for running the program, and I'm impressed when we have our graduation in terms of the family. And the best part is when can you talk about the pinning with our students and their family?
Right, at the end,
So there's a
when
tradition.
each graduate, after we call their names up, they come up, they're standing in the front of the stage. You can probably see some of the pictures up there. But we do have their family members come up and pin them. It's an exciting thing for the family. They're starting a career in law enforcement, so I think it's a good program. So
And the best part is when their kids, particularly some of the younger kids, talking about their dad
Right.
and saying hello. So it's really exciting. But again, thank you for doing the program, and wonderful. I'm not sure if any other trustees have any questions.
Questions?
For John?
Thank you, Joe. On the pinning, I do recognize the emotional weight of that moment, because I was at the nurse pinning ceremony a week ago, and for the nursing program, and the same situation here. You had mothers, sometimes grandmothers,
Right.
who were nurses coming
Right.
up and pinning a newly minted nurse. It's pretty exciting.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank
for
you.
coming.
And in a couple of cases, children pinning their parent. It was
And they were doing a good
there were
job
tears.
with it too.
There were tears. So we still await a quorum, so we will, do you have another report or before I go into?
Okay.
All right. I think I'll go to my president's report and give that while we wait. It's on the short side today. We met fairly recently, just before, hi Carrie. I'll give you a second to settle in and then call roll. I'll give my report in the meantime. On December 2nd, since our last meeting, Dr. Sagai and I had our monthly meeting with the county executive, Ben Swanekamp, and others at the Rath Building. Those meetings continue to be very helpful, and this subject did come up, and I think the county folks are very excited about the possibilities here for this that Joe reported on. On December 4th, we had a nice social event. The members of our board got together with the members of the board of the SUNY Erie ECC Foundation, and just had a night of socializing and getting to know one another better, and it was well attended from both groups, and I'd like to thank the folks over at the foundation who put that together for us. It was a nice evening, and I think helped us get to know one another and advance things on both sides. On the 5th, Chairman Ken Crewley held a Budget Audit and Facilities Committee meeting. I attended that, and I appreciate those monthly meetings. The budget's always something going that would require a monthly meeting on the budget side. Appreciate that, Ken. I mentioned briefly the nurse pinning ceremony on 12/13, our nurse program. Our faculty was there in robust form. The stage was had a good solid number of faculty members and leaders from that program. Dr. Sagai was there and spoke. I spoke. And it was very, very nice, well-organized program by everyone involved, and very emotional at times, as I mentioned. Congratulations to all our graduates and those nurses and our law enforcement folks as well. Looking forward, tomorrow, Dr. Sagai and I will be attending an event sponsored by the Thurman and Patty Thomas Family Foundation. This is an annual fundraiser event that they stage, and it's in downtown Buffalo, and Dr. Sagai and I will be there, and I think we'll see quite a few people from around town here at the holiday times. And speaking of the holidays, it's just probably best at the end of the meeting, but I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays for everyone who is celebrating at this time of year some special occasion. Lastly, our retreat will be January 23rd, 2025. This is our annual board retreat. We will be combining it with a regular board meeting, which will occur first, and then the board will stay and carry on and undertake an agenda that Dr. Sagai and I and others will be working on here to finalize. Carrie, I know that you have a day that day, but we're hoping to figure out a way to get you engaged, perhaps remotely if possible, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
But everyone else can make it. That is my report. So at this point, Carrie, if you would kindly call the roll, and we can convene the meeting formally.
Sure. Melody Baker. Present. Ken Crewley.
Here.
Len Lenahan is excused.
Len's excused. Some back issues, and this morning he texted me last minute.
Amanda Lau,
Here.
Candace Morrison,
Here.
Carrie Phillips here, Jeffrey Stone,
Here.
and Cameron Lloyd is not present yet. I'm not sure if he's coming.
Okay. As I mentioned, we're going to go into executive session here at the beginning. I don't think it will be all that long, or certainly as long as it was last November meeting. We'll probably move through our business pretty quickly, and then we will gather again, go through the rest of the business meeting, which again is on the light side today, so that's the outlook. Okay, let's go ahead, clear the room, and take a motion to go into executive session for the two purposes I outlined: collective bargaining and lease negotiations with financial implications.
So moved.
Thank you. Carrie, second?
Yeah.
All right, Ken, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
We're going into executive session. We'll come out and report as soon as we can. we're done with our executive session. We took no formal action in executive session, and the subjects were as described. The lease negotiations over the new space for South and collective bargaining negotiations. We will have some motions to take care of at this part of the meeting, and we'll start with those that are more routine at the beginning of our agenda, and we have a couple of special motions. So first, I'll call for a motion to approve the minutes of the November 21st Board of Trustees. We've all seen them. I had no comments.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second, Candace.
Second.
All in favor of approving November 21st? Aye. Any opposed? Those are approved. We'll now go to Chair Ken Crewley of the Budget, Audit, and Facilities Committee. He has a renewal of the Xenograde software license agreement, straightforward, and also a special resolution on fund balance.
The license agreement is just a continuation of software that we've been using regularly. I think Erickson has been involved in it. If there's something you'd like to add to that.
It's used by our non-credit, non-tuition program for registration activities, as well as our workforce development. So the software is critical for us to be able to maintain that registration activity.
But that, I think, is a very simple one to move ahead. But Jeff, do you want to vote on these separately? You want to do?
Let's quickly vote on that one, and then we'll move on to the other.
I would make a motion to approve the renewal of the license agreement.
So
Thank
moved.
you. Second, Melody. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved. We have a motion received outside of committee. I have the language of it here, and I think, given its significance, we'll read the actual language, but could you present the concept, Ken, please?
The concept is that we have an obligation in order to follow GASB rules and to be in position to do a good audit, to manage our fund balance. And so we have a proposal that would declare a portion of the fund balance as a surplus. We have some general categories that well exceed the amount of that surplus that we've identified as potential uses that we're not prepared to act on individually yet at this point. But we think that for purposes of following the GASB rules and also preparation for audits, that we ought to proceed with this action.
I'm going to read because of the importance and the effect on our audit and so forth, I want to make sure we have the exact language in front of us. So the December 19th resolution, whereas the SUNY Erie fund balance policy sets forth that the total fund balance reserve shall not exceed 3 months worth of operating expenditures, and whereas SUNY Erie determined that at fiscal year end 2024, its total fund balance reserve exceeded 3 months worth of expenditures in the amount of approximately $15 million, and whereas the SUNY Erie Board of Trustees has reviewed the current fund balance reserve policy and acknowledges the importance of maintaining adequate reserves for financial stability, and whereas in an effort to maintain the college's financial stability and promote its growth, SUNY Erie seeks to utilize its excess fund balance reserve to support key priorities such as, without limitation, payroll liabilities, potential retirement incentives, upgrades to technology, furniture and fixtures, deferred maintenance projects, and other strategic investments to benefit the college. Now therefore be it resolved, the excess fund balance reserve that exceeds 3 months worth of the college's operating expenditures shall be deemed a surplus, and be it further resolved that the SUNY Erie Board of Trustees approves the allocation of $15 million of the excess fund balance reserve as funds in the unassigned fund balance category. That is the motion. Ken, are you comfortable with making that motion?
Yes, I make that motion for approval.
Any second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, let's take a vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is passed as described. Ken, I think that's it in terms of approval items from your committee.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Student Success, Candace Morrison, Chair.
Yes, so we only have one item. We haven't met between meetings, but there's only one item. It's a renewal of the space agreement, so it is on page 10 of the materials. Unless there's any questions, I would move to have it. And of course, we can discuss, and Erickson would be here to explain, but it's on page 10, and as I understand it, it's just a renewal of an agreement that's been in place.
Quite straightforward. You're moving its approval?
Yes.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is approved as well. Space utilization at OLV. Again, renewal. Talent, diversity, equity, and belonging, Chair Amanda Lau.
We have a few things on here. I'll keep it brief because I know we got to keep our quorum with Melody. So first, there's 2 leave of absences. So Kathy and Erickson, who are going to continue on in their current positions. Thank you both. I would talk a lot longer, but Melody has to leave. Creating a new job title, Associate for Personnel. That's going to be in the HR Legal Affairs Department. There are 3 items on the request to hire listed there. I don't know, Audium, if you want to highlight any
Sure.
of those 3 individuals.
Sure. So there's 3 new hire there. John Reinhold, he's here with us, and I'll have him come in a minute. Lawrence Morrison and Lisa Paul, both of them are Director of Human Resources, Director of Talent. They're not here, but they will be helping us with our HR department, and they will be starting on the 6th. Lawrence will start on the 6th, and then Lisa will start on the 13th. But I would like for John Reinhold to come up and just give a little bit background. John has been with us as a consultant, helping us with the college and public safety.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is John Reinholz. As President Sagai stated, I've been helping out with some consulting work with the campus safety department. I love it. I've enjoyed it a lot. I have a background in law enforcement. I started many years ago, it seems now, 1987, with the state police. Worked all over New York State, worked in 6 different troops. Took a lot of enjoyable details and positions. Retired in 2007 and turned the page and went into higher ed. So I've been in higher ed for the better part of 17 years. I started teaching criminal justice, and I was with the overseeing the criminal justice department at Bryant and Stratton College. And from there, I want to say it's just about 10 years ago, I transferred over to Hilbert College. And I've been a full-time professor in their forensics division CSI program. So I'm proud to say that I made rank of associate professor, and it's been a wonderful 10 years. So I'm excited about this next challenge. I feel like I have a really good background in the criminal justice field and higher ed academics. And hopefully, I'm honored that you thought of me, President Sagai. I hope I can live up to the standard, and yeah,
Okay.
I'm excited about it.
Adia?
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Glad to have you in the mix.
And then lastly, we have the sad news of Adrian returning to the ranks, and I want to.
I think he's changing his mind, though. No, every day.
Is she strong-arming you? Adrian, we are so indebted to you. Thank you so much for stepping up in our time of need and really showing your leadership skills with this institution. I know you're not going away, but thank you for everything that you've done in this role, and we really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, I will move all of these different items to be approved.
Thank you. As circulated, second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are approved. Now we have a quick special resolution before we lose our quorum. We have an operating agreement in place with the ECC Foundation that by its terms expires on December 31st, 2024. And we are in discussions with the foundation to have that extended and reviewed. So, but in the meantime, here at the holidays, we just need a little more time to operate and deal with that. So we will, this is a resolution that authorizes myself as board chair to execute on behalf of the college an extension to our current operating agreement between the college and the foundation for an additional duration through and including February 28th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll take that authority. Thank you very much. I think that is the last of our formal actions.
Yes.
We do have some reports, and we'll take those.
Do you need me?
No.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Always happy to have you, but.
Happy
but,
holidays. Happy
yeah,
holidays.
thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr.
Enjoy.
Scott.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your leadership. So indebted to you.
All right, I appreciate everybody moving there.
Gail, we're good? Gail?
Yep. Gail, anything else I've overlooked? No, I think I'm good. All right. At this point, we'll go to our informational items and ask Ken to step up again with those.
The first couple of items, the supplier report and the facilities rentals, are pretty standard. The information has been circulated to the board. I saw nothing there that required any particular attention. The information about the LMHF financials and the budget, I just asked Arda to give us a brief update on those things.
I really don't have much to report, Ken, since our budget and audit committee meeting. Everything is as expected.
Concisely, everything is fine as it could be with the financials, with the health policies. And the budget is moving along the way it's supposed to right now, so we're in a good position. And as we get into the new year, we'll start preparing the next budget, and we'll have some further information to talk about. And the last item was just the minutes of our previous meeting.
Thanks, Ken. I did note the LMHF, and you might have mentioned this, has turned a little more positive, which is good on the year and for the month. Not necessarily, anything else, Ken, on there?
Oh.
Okay. I don't think we have too many reports elsewise, but I'll go through the list. Curriculum, student success, and diversity. Candace?
We have not met since the last meeting. We did have that one item received outside of committee, but no other updates.
Right, and you've got, I think, maybe a January, some of these groups have January meetings coming up,
Yeah.
not during the holidays. Marketing, Len Lanahan is not here. Angelica, anything you want to share with us from the marketing side?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a press conference coming up January 13th. It's our 2+2 program where we're working with UB and in regards to the nursing program that we have here. So it'll be at the Cape Building, 10 o'clock on January 13th here at North Campus. In addition to that, we've been working on promoting our registration days coming up in January. Also our new student welcome. And our advertising is doing quite well. Our Buffalo Niagara advertising has gotten us 3.9 million impressions over the last 48 weeks. We've got, over the last 2.5 years, our Martin Group partnership has gotten us just over 81 million impressions. So that's all of the digital, the social media, the billboards and things that we've got out with them. And our NFTA advertising, we're working on another round of ads that we're pushing out with the NFTA, and after we're finished with that, we're going to reach 3.2 million. That's it. To you guys.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Policy and governance, I believe, may be meeting
Yes.
in January.
Yes.
Strategic planning, Carrie?
We have not met since the last, and we will meet in January, so I don't have anything. to
Again, the
report
general
today.
concept there is to use as a basis the interim strategic plan to create the permanent one.
Yes, and that's already well underway.
Yep. Talent, diversity, equity, and belonging. Amanda Lau?
So we have our workday transaction report that's attached that refers to hires and separations the end of October through November.
Okay. And Carrie, anything on the technology side?
No, again, we're gonna meet in January, and we'll have a report after that. We'll do another workday report in the February meeting then.
That'll be interesting,
Yeah.
as I thought. I gave my chair report at the outset. Student trustee report, Cam is not here, so we'll hear from him next meeting. College Senate report, I got a quick note from Colleen that she is engaged with students this morning and might have tried to log in, but if she isn't successful, she just apologizes, but that's the reason that she can't give a Senate report. That brings us to President's report, and perhaps you could cover transportation while you do that, Dr. Sagai?
Sure, absolutely. Bob, thank you. So we love visual. Just a few updates in there, and I think we already saw the Law Enforcement Training Academy graduation. As we said, it was a wonderful experience. Culinary cooking demonstration. They do a lot of good demonstration. Cookies are wonderful. James would love their cookies.
I'll sign that.
Yes, as we know it. To Jeff's earlier point, nursing pinning ceremony was wonderful to hear our students, and they're just incredible in terms of their testimony and their experience. And I have to tell you, this has been like 2 years at this the pinning ceremony. Every single student always thanked their mom. That's all I can say is that it's all right.
Yes.
So it was a wonderful experience there. We just recently, last week, had a meeting with the Erie County Health Department to do some partnership with our dental program. So we had a really nice meeting with the team there to talk about how our students could go into the community and help with the effort that the county is putting forward as it relates to oral health. So that was very exciting. Wellness event at the city campus that's continuing. That's part of one our mission is to really develop the wellness space for our students, and this will continue, and you're going to hear more about that when a student trustee reports that perhaps in January. Maybe I'll do it this way. Maybe Kathy and Adrian, if you could talk about your conference at Middle State, please.
Sure. Adrian, myself, our Director of Assessment and Accreditation, Shar, and our accreditation mentor, Jackie Bossman from faculty, all attended the Middle States Conference that was taking place in Philadelphia last week. We divided and conquered, and I think we saw almost every single presentation that was provided. And we also got to hear Chancellor King speak to the whole, everyone who is represented by Middle States, and he gave a really compelling speech talking about the 4 principles of his strategic plan. And it was nice to see the alignment and the progress that SUNY is making, and how SUNY was represented as a model for the rest of Middle States partners.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kathy.
Anything to add, Adrian? Was it a wonderful trip, though?
Oh, yeah, it was great.
See, he will change his mind.
Back.
Thank you. And James Blackwell, do you want to do the update on the ATRAM at the city campus, please?
Yeah, so earlier, was it this week?
Yes.
Yeah, so earlier this week, they all kind of blend together right now. I gave I'll call it a state of the facility address regarding the Atrium Skyline project, which is going to be resuming starting over winter break. So we recall from the last summer where we stopped as a result of finding out that the dust was falling down. We paused the project during the time from when we stopped the project to now. We've been working on a plan to how to safely move forward with that project, working with our partners in county government and the contractors to identify the best path forward. So what will that look like? We will be using poly sheets going down and sealing off the entire atrium, basically creating a containment zone that will be sealed. There's testing going on, make sure that the barrier there's no points of vulnerability. That installation will take place over the winter time, and then starting in March there'll be some very small and light site prep work, with the majority of construction taking place over summer. So the highlight from the meeting that we had was that for winter break the building will be vacated, and then again in the summertime, over summer semester, it will be vacated again. During the spring and fall, assuming that all the levels are safe and all our efforts are fruitful, the building will be repopulated for classes, but the atrium will remain closed.
Thank you. Paul, anything to add?
No, I think James covered everything.
Yep, so I think it's also important to note that the meeting that we conducted was with our students as well as the faculty and staff to really give them that, but our intention is also to do a video, a real live video, an voice with that video to show students where will they get their books from, how would they enter the the cafeteria. The other thing we are going to do is, we have a model from what happened the last time around in terms of just relocating. We are going to relocate some of the furniture for the students and utilizing oak in the gym, so that way we have more spaces for our students. So they will have visual of this. We will communicate with them so that they understand what that means equally with our faculty and staff. And this project is going to take about a year. Again, this is part of the facility update to make sure that our students and our faculty and our staff have an updated and conducive learning and service environment. So we're excited about the project, but we will continue to communicate with our students about the progress that we're making in that project.
How is this project, as it's sort of mushroomed, being paid for? Is this part of insurance? Is it a state capital aided project?
It's a state capital project.
Okay.
It is part of our master plan,
Yeah.
the facility master plan, so this is a continuation of that. As James mentioned, we had to interrupt it because of some of the things that we experienced, but I think this will lead us to hopefully completing the project. We do have a Plan A and Plan B and Plan C because of this, but the key is to make sure that it's safe for learning, and we are doing everything to ensure that that happen and communicate with our students and our faculty and
With
staff.
the post office building, it's easy to confuse things, right? Because we had the freeze and the flood. That was insurance covered. This is different. This is the atrium and the skylight, and so it's two different projects.
So on the transportation side, as we mentioned, we did survey our students for their experience at the college. So this was the first survey we did in a very long time. So we are at about 25%. 26, that's better than 25. We're shooting for a lot higher. I think we have a huge opportunity to get a lot more response from our students, so we will work through that to make sure that we do get more response. But transportation and other areas is part of that question that we pose to our students, so we'll have the data to be able to provide some insight about that, both during the retreat with our board as well as during the board meeting in January.
Okay.
I'm all good.
We're all set? All right.
Thank you.
Any other items of old business? Any items of new business that we haven't taken up yet? We've had our executive session. Our next meeting is January 23rd. Again, that will be combined with a relatively day-long retreat, so we'll plan on that. Dr. Sagai, we're going to be here for that, or do we have a plan?
We will discuss.
Okay. To be determined,
Yes.
but it'll be convenient. And with that, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn, please. Thanks, Candace. Second?
Second.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Carrie. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Got a lot
you.
done.
Thank you.
Thank you.